Drought in Africa is moving towards a crucial point. Vital activities have come to a standstill in the region, struggling with the biggest drought of recent years. Experts stated that if environmental conditions do not improve, most of the living things will lose their lives. A great massacre awaits the wild animals in the region. Now, if you're ready, let's focus our attention on the region. Hello, welcome to Disaster Pulse. Here we closely follow the power of nature, its destructive effects, and humanity's struggle against these disasters. Earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, volcanic eruptions, and more. Now take a deep breath and stay tuned, because nature never waits. In Namibia and Zimbabwe, governments are planning to cull elephants and other wild animals due to drought and lack of resources. This highlights the devastating impact of water and food shortages on wildlife in the region. Authorities argue that culling operations are necessary to alleviate human-wildlife conflicts and environmental pressures. When we come to the reasons for the culling decision, surprising facts emerge. Drying rivers and decreasing grazing areas due to climate change have caused animals to change their migration routes. As the elephant population in the region is increasing rapidly, the burden on the ecosystem is growing. Elephants are reported to damage agricultural areas and human settlements. It is estimated that approximately 100,000 elephants currently live in Zimbabwe. Since this number is more than the ecosystem can handle, the authorities consider it necessary to intervene. Animal rights advocates argue that killing operations could lead to further deterioration of the ecological balance. Elephants play a critical role in maintaining vegetation and the survival of other species. Critics suggest relocating the animals to other areas or increasing conservation measures to reduce human-animal conflicts. Southern Africa is struggling with a severe drought, exacerbated by the man-made climate crisis and the impact of El Niño. Crops have failed, livestock have suffered massive losses, and some 70 million people are facing food insecurity. Zimbabwe declared a national disaster in April, while Namibia declared a state of emergency in May. Almost half the country is in acute food insecurity. Elizabeth Marema, Deputy Director General of the UN Environment Programme, stated that droughts have increased unprecedentedly in recent years. According to Marema, hunting animals using scientific and sustainable methods is common practice in some cultures and does not pose a problem for ecological balance. However, the current crisis is causing enormous suffering to the people of the region, making sustainable resource management difficult. Authorities in Namibia and Zimbabwe argue that reducing wild animal populations is beneficial for the ecosystem, and that this method is necessary so that resource shortages do not threaten the survival of the remaining animals. In both countries, controlled killing will be carried out mostly by professional hunters. In Zimbabwe, all animals will be killed by this method, while in Namibia, some elephant hunts will be allowed to be carried out by trophy hunters. Chris Brown, an environmental scientist from the Namibian Chamber of Environment, said the animals would be shot quickly and humanely at night, using silencers and infrared equipment. Brown argued that this method is more painless than mass slaughter in slaughterhouses, and said that the meat of the killed animals will be distributed to those in need. Namibian Ministry of Environment spokesperson Romeo Muyunda stated that 83 elephants will be killed, 12 of which are reserved for trophy hunters. In 2024, drought in the world was particularly severe due to El Niño and the human-induced climate crisis. In regions such as South America, Africa, and the Mediterranean, agriculture and livestock farming suffered greatly, and water levels in rivers and dams fell severely. In South Africa, around 30 million people are in need of food aid, while the low water level of the Zambezi River has led to interruptions in energy production. Methods such as efficient irrigation and rainwater harvesting are needed for a solution. However, hotter and drier conditions are expected to continue in many places. As you all know, the lifespan of the world we live on is getting shorter every day. Human beings are limiting their own life by using natural resources in a brutal way. Drought and climate change are the most crucial consequences of this. While the climate crisis causes an increase in temperatures around the world due to the increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, drought is one of the most obvious consequences of this change. While global warming disrupts precipitation cycles and reduces precipitation in some regions, the increase in temperature leads to faster evaporation of water. This puts pressure on agriculture, livestock, and water resources, increasing famine and human-wildlife conflicts. Droughts are becoming more frequent and severe, especially in vulnerable regions such as Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East, destroying ecosystems and affecting the lives of millions of people. Thank you for tuning in. We will continue to explore the power